Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. You know, I'm now conscious that people join this program from all over, because based on what I've seen, people are here from the UK, people are here from Canada, California, different time zone, New York, in the Caribbean. So I have to be reminded that when I greet you, I just can't greet you and say good morning, because people are all over. Welcome to the third episode of the second season of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. As I say, this is the third episode of the second season. This started on the 4th of January. And you may have noted we have a new theme song. We're trying to improve all the time. We have a new theme song. And if you were to check on YouTube, you will see that the programs are now actually dated. So you're going to see episode 2 or episode 3. So you can, it serves as a reference point. So if someone tells you about a particular program, you don't have to source through. We are trying to improve so that you can get the easy reference to see what is going on. So here we are again today, being the 25th day of January 2023, and we are ready. We are raring to go. My colleague, co-host, co-accused, friend is already in the studio, awaiting to be invited in and to go live for us to have some discussion. We're going to have some beautiful discussions again today, as we have always been doing. But you know, where we start, I like to do, well, before I do roll call, I just want to tell you that I'll tell you why we weren't here last week. Some people were very distressed over the fact that last week there was no program. Well, I'm going to give an explanation. So those people who are inclined to fine and punish you for being absent, we have justifiable excuses for not being here. And my friend from Jamaica, Dudley, has indicated that he loves the new theme song. Raul is saying he was absent for a couple of weeks because he was on vacation with his family. Raul, we appreciate that. Family comes first. So if you have to take some time to be with your family, please always put them in front. I noted from very early this morning, very early, when I came on and signed on, some people are already here waiting on YouTube. The YouTubers are always very early, because once the program is scheduled, they can join in. But YouTube, the Facebookers have to wait until we go live. We see Kudowashi. Let me tell you who for Forrest. Forrest on this morning. Forrest on was Matthew J from Virginia. Matthew came on as early as 9:23 this morning. And the regular Vibort. Vibort came on at number 2 at 9:36. And then we had Carl from B. Carl says that he's an ex-sergeant from the BVI, that's the British Virgin Islands, and he's now in Liverpool, London. He came on at 9:36. So good evening to you, Carl, and welcome to Speaking Out. Kudwashi came on at 10:21. Patricia came on at shortly after 10:32. Then we had Jakey, my friend Jakey. We spoke this morning. Jakey from Baltimore, Maryland. And Jakey, thanks for the thing. Thanks for the thing. We will talk later. Then we had Anthony J. Came on this morning. He came on at 11:01. Then Jean came on at 11:13. Stephen, Sagi, yes, Sagi, I miss you, Sagi. You came on very early too. Anthony J came on. Then we had Jean came on. Jean came on. What time Jean came on? Jean came on at 11:13. And after Jean, according to my records, we had Dudley. He mentioned Dudley a while. He says awaiting the broadcast, and he's enjoying his new theme song. Aileen came on this morning at 11:22. And my friend Tessa G came on at 11:23. Then we had Yulandaya came on at 11:25. And then at 11, after Yulandaya, we had my friend Terence Young. He always reports 9795, Young reporting for duty. Welcome, Terence, always regular. Then we have Derek, another old PG man, TSU man. And we had, after Derek, we had David Mack at 11:28. David Mack came on at 11:28. Then we had Isabella B at 11:29. Princess Ord from Lamar Springs. Princess came on at what time? 11:31. Then we had Natasha at 11:30. And these are all people on the YouTube. So Facebookers, don't get jealous. Don't get jealous. Then we had Barbara B at 11:35. Winston K. You see Winston from Ontario, California. Then after Winston, we had Colin from Orlando, Florida. Then Redman came on, and Redman said he apologizing for being absent for the past couple of weeks. Apologies are accepted. Family comes first, my friend. And we have Patricia. Then we had Kerry G from Baltimore. Kerry G indicated that it's her first program. She's a newcomer. So welcome to Speaking Out. Welcome. And as we are welcoming you, just want to tell you that you can go on YouTube, and all the episodes are there. So you can catch up in your own time on all the previous episodes. And then we had Vibert from Craig. He came on 11:58. And when the program went live, I can see my friend John Knights is here. John, welcome, John. Welcome, John is here. He's here every day. Every day. Abdul from Essequibo Coast, Quito. Jacko is here as well. Schwartzy, 10025. You are here as well. And we have Lado in the house. Lado, welcome, Lado. Sharpman, my friend from New York. John, welcome. Chilo, welcome. We have full house. Orin is from the UK, I know. And Orin is on and ready. Secretary, Denise is all as well. Welcome, Denise. Welcome. 8218, Como is on again. Again, Doreen, my squaddy, always on. Mark, cricketer. Mark B is here. And Raul is here again. That's the next R. Raul is R-A-W-L-E. Raul Chalmers is here as well. Welcome, Raul. Welcome. Squaddy Carl is also here. Carl Hartman, my squad mate, is here. Paul Archer, my namesake. And Fruiting Body is here. Another squad mate of mine, Frankie. I am 49. Frankie is 51. He is here. So we are all here. Heather is here as well. So welcome all. Share the live. Let them know that we are here. We're ready to go. We're going to give you some good information this morning. Very interesting information. And as you know, we would say this is the day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. So share the information. Share, let them know. I see the numbers are mounting rapidly. Continue to share so let people know that we're on and where to go. Welcome, Canty. See, Canty just came on. Welcome, Canty. Now, we have to give praise and thanks as we always do for being in the land of the living. Many persons have not been that fortunate. The last time we were here, I did report on the passing of retired Senior Superintendent Noel Jones, who was buried 2 Saturdays ago. Carol, welcome. Another regular welcome. Jonesy was buried. Well, no, he was cremated 2 Saturdays ago. And then we had, over the past 2 weeks, the death of retired woman assistant superintendent Shirley King. Shirley's regulation number, I was reminded, was W45. So you can tell she was there in the very early days of women police joining the force. Shirley died and she was buried 2 days ago on Monday. And we have that. So we have to be proud and glad to be in the land of the living. Quito saying that he's from New Jersey. Welcome, Quito, welcome. And, in terms of us giving praise and thanks over the past week or so, or past couple of weeks, we've had so many people dying in Guyana by drowning, by accident, by murder. It's really, really sad, the amount of people losing their life, especially when you look at the manner in which some people, I read the account of what took place with those 2 persons who drowned the other day. It's really sad to hear the husband relating how the incident occurred. He was right there. He said he saw his wife. She was so happy. And then shortly after, she went under. So let us give praise and thanks to the Almighty for allowing us to be in the land of the living. At the same time, we want to take this opportunity to express condolences to the relatives, friends of those who have passed. And again, just keep the faith, be strong. They said the big man don't give more than you can bear, but I know it can be very devastating to lose a loved one, especially under those tragic circumstances. Well, it's really sad. It's really sad. Now, let me bring in my friend, my colleague, Mr. Conway. CC, morning and welcome.
Morning, Paul. Thanks for having me on your program, because we're doing the work of the Lord. And I always say, and I'm saying it several times, that look, you can't do policing without God. And if you want to do policing, read the Bible, read the Quran, read the Gita, read those holy books. There are numerous stories in there telling you how to do policing. So I'm happy to be in the land of the living. And I'm happy that we have so many followers on our program.
Yeah, the followers, we have lots and lots of followers. As a matter of fact, I checked this morning, the last program, which was held on the 11th of January, 2 Wednesdays ago, on the social, on Facebook. We broadcast on 2 platforms, Facebook and YouTube. YouTube has over, for that one program, I'm talking about the program on the 11th, over 3,000 viewers. The program was viewed by over 3,000 persons. And on Facebook, I was blown away, over 13,000. So you have over 16,000 persons viewing the last program. So the program is growing. And I want to again thank all of you who are here and to tell you, look, share the information, share the live, and let people know what we discuss and what is going on. And we anticipate as we build up, they're going to send these the people to come to the track. The last program they had one spewing a lot of crap. We just have to ignore them and move on. Send the message that they don't dispute the message. They don't dispute the message, but they want to attack the messengers, which is understandable. This is the standard practice. So we will continue to say the thing, and if they want to dispute anything, they can do so. Now, as I said, we weren't here last week, and the reason why we were not here last week is because we had to be in court. Some of us were there in person, physically there in person, and some of us were virtually in court. But we had to be there in relation to these trumped up charges. And we like to keep you updated. So the charge that relates to the conspiracy to commit fraud, with myself, Mr. Conway, some serving and retired police officers are charged. That came up for what they call case management conference. And the lawyer who was retained by SOCU to prosecute those cases, that case and other cases, but that case, he indicated to the magistrate how he intends to pursue which matters are going to be tried simultaneously, and that the magistrate has indicated that those matters, I think it's set to trial on the 26th of April. So we have a good wait. And it's interesting to note, again, sharing the information, this matter is scheduled for the 26th of April. It means when we return to court on the 26th of April, more than 2 years would have passed since this charge was instituted against us. People are interdicted and all of that. And it can't go. That is how this system is. That is how the system is. Mr. Conway, you wish to comment on that one?
Yes, but the time is coming, we say that we'll have our day. And we anxiously waiting. Even if it take 3 years, we anxiously waiting, man. We will be vindicated.
Yeah, because we know that we're innocent. So they could jump high, jump low. We know that at the end of the day, we'll be vindicated. You're correct. And then to bring you up to date as well, last week was a busy week with me at court. We had the Police Service Commission, the suspension of the Police Service Commission case before Justice Gino Prasad. Oral arguments were made by the Attorney General and by the lawyers representing the Police Service Commission. And after hearing the oral arguments, the judge decided that he's going to hand down a decision on the 24th of March. So that comes up on the 24th of March. And then the same day, last Wednesday in the afternoon, I had to be there too for these trumped up sexual assault charges. And some preliminary arguments were made by my lawyer, Mr. Hughes, and you had Mr. Moore, who is the police legal advisor representing the police. And the magistrate the matter comes up again on the 28th of February. So the most we can say that the matters are moving. Now, in respect of the matter on Monday with the Police Service Commission, the matter is still before the court, and all of these matters are still before the court. So we are constrained in terms of what we can see. I mean, we tell you the dates and so on, but I don't think it would be prudent for us to go into any details, and we are not going to do so. We are law-abiding citizens, professional law-abiding citizens, and we're going to abide by the laws and the various rules. CC?
Yeah, that's true. And as you rightly mentioned, it is always moving very slowly, but we'll get there at the end, man.
And then last week Friday, we had this, I had this civil lawsuit that was filed by Senior Superintendent Brutus at the time. He claimed that I used words on this very program, which were defamatory, libelous, and all manner of things. Well, let me tell you, let me give you a little synopsis as to what took place. I made statements on this program, which I'm prepared to back up because they are the truth. All the statements that I made in respect to various individuals, I have evidence to show that those statements are truthful. So in April of last year, 2022, the person filed a civil lawsuit, wanted 70 million Guyana dollars for various things that he said, he claimed that I said about him. Now, the matter came up, I think it was in September, before the judge for what they call case management. That is where the parties will sit down and the judge will indicate what has to be done by particular dates. Now, the judge ordered that both parties must file and exchange statements and other documents on or before the 30th of November 2022. That was the order of the court. I did all my research, pull up all the documents in support of what I said. And as we were ready to file those documents, Mr. Brutus' lawyer called my attorneys and requested 14 days. They said they weren't ready to file and exchange the documents. So here it is, you have a case where in April of 2022, a lawsuit is filed, and in November, they are not ready to file statements. So the matter came up on the 20th, which was last Friday. And the judge indicated quite clearly that if Mr. Brutus' lawyer wanted an extension, he should have made an application to the court and give reasons why the extension was requested. She said those are the rules. And the fact that that wasn't done, the judge dismissed the matter. So that is a nutshell. But again, I say you file a lawsuit in April 2022. And in November, you cannot provide statements to support the lawsuit that you filed, whether you get witnesses to support you or not. In the meanwhile, I did a comprehensive affidavit. I had witnesses, several witnesses who were there, who gave statements and signed affidavits to support some of the contentions that I made. So we were willing and ready and to go to trial. Because at the time of the case management, the judge indicated that if a trial became necessary, that trial will commence on the 10th of March. So it was set for the 10th of March. But I got a strong suspicion, having seen all the evidence and so on, they decided they're going to back out and so on. But I'm waiting because, if they want, they can appeal, they can appeal. I honestly would like to have those matters ventilated and made public, some of the things that I've said. Because one of the things they suing me for, because I said that the post is self-serving. The Chief Justice said that. The Chief Justice on the 28th of June 2021, when she handed down the decision striking out the challenge that he made, and was joined by Stanley. He was joined by Stanley. He was joined by Prem Narain. He was joined by Shavan Jupiter. He was joined by Bacchus, the man at Region 6, New Amsterdam. The Chief Justice, in striking out the challenge they brought in respect to the promotion, said that she found him to be self-serving. I was just repeating what the Chief Justice said. So if it's just you're going to sue me for saying that, why you sue the Chief Justice for making that pronouncement? So we had all the thing. That is what the Chief Justice said. We had all the evidence to support what I claimed. Right? I spoke about the incident where he dismissed Pastor Dulachan. That's public knowledge. That's public knowledge. After Pastor Dulachan prayed that prayer on the opening of the police conference, I think it was 2021 officers conference, the man was dismissed. That's why I said they're suing me for that. So I am willing, if they want to appeal, let me appeal, man, and let me hope that the matter is ventilated. Because let me tell you something. As an old countryman, Lado, Arne, and many country people going to understand. We say, no, done as you like. You start the fight, don't run and all night. You start the fight, let's take the fight to its logical conclusion. I am not afraid of anything. I am not afraid. So that is what we have. So that matter is struck out. They have the other officer, Karim Bash, did sue me as well. And I ain't hearing anything about that. But I'm willing because, as I've said, I have the evidence to support all the statements that I have made. All the statements. So let me see what will become of those matters. So the dates we have, as I said before, the 28th of February will be one set of cases. Then we have March the 24th Police Service Commission. Then we have the 28th of April for the other charges. So let's see how things will go. Let's see how things will go. Are there any slips? CC, any comment? Let me add you back. Yes, CC.
So, I repeat myself, justice will prevail and we will be victorious, right? Just a matter of time, Paul. It's a matter of time.
Yeah, just a matter of time. I mean, it takes long. It costing you a lot of time and effort and some stress and things. But at the end of the day, we are going to be vindicated in all of these matters. Now, continue to share the live. Continue to share the live. Some people making comments here. They're too wicked and vindictive. Those cases will be going down the drain. They know that. Then somebody said that Brutus know that he has no evidence, and people making the comment. They have no proof. Yeah, we know that. Somebody said Maureen said the spirit touching them. So that's what we have. Now, CC, going forward, I think you would have noted in the media that a young police rank, I think Doris is his name, graduated as a private, he got a private license, private pilot license. I want to congratulate him. I want to congratulate him on acquiring his private license. And I'm sure, Mr. Conway, you'd want to join me in congratulating him as well.
Yeah, Paul, and I wrote a letter to the effect, and I also in my letter I congratulate him on having his pilot's license, and I know his father well too, So a good boy.
Yes, I know his father. When I saw the picture, then I recognized that I know his father of
Yeah,
the branchman and so on. Yeah, I know him.
yeah. As we say, he come from good stock.
Come from good stock. And you know that when the news was first aired, the PR man that you referred to, the PR man said that the man was promoted as a cadet officer. And I know you commented on that because again, we want to say for the members of the public, we try to educate. In order to be promoted to the rank of a cadet officer, that is the Police Service Commission. And
Yeah,
if you recall, the Chief Justice ruled that the Police Service Commission is not fully constituted. And while she used the de facto doctrine to save actions that were taken up to that point, they can't do anything else until such time that the commission is properly constituted. And I saw later on the other correction to say that a recommendation, some letter was sent. But I got on this man, well, this person who seems to get these scoops, and he always run ahead and making all sort of erroneous statements. I recall when you had the Orange Boston or the Orange Boston shooting on the Essequibo coast, it was the same outlet that says that, look, this man attacked the police and was shot and killed. On New Year's Day, when we had the unfortunate incident where the police corporal was killed, the same person ran ahead and said one wrong was discharged, the wrong pierced the back of some, pierced the arm or something, and killed one bullet, killed both men. That is what they say. So well, I am not surprised. I don't know if people are surprised because there's no professionalism there. They want to run ahead and do the PR work, and in the process, write a lot of crap. So, congratulations to young Doris, and I'm sure that at the correct time, you will get whoever rank. But I want to say this too, because I know they're listening, and this is one for the people in the hierarchy of the force and the Minister of Home Affairs and all. If this man and all of them, if this man has qualified himself, they want to promote him to officer rank. Why promote him to cadet officer? The regulation requires that once he's a cadet officer, there are some stringent requirements for him to be at station for so much months and to be rotated around the place. I sure they don't want that. So I think that if the man is to be promoted to officer rank, he should be made an assistant superintendent on probation, which will
right.
remove them of the requirement to have him stationed at Brickdam and all of those places. Mr. Conway?
That's true, And talking about the police and the Police Service Commission, I got some information quite recently. There's got this run and shoot competition with the police, with the joint services. And there's it, a sergeant, the police, dress her up as an inspector, and she competed in that competition. No police service commission can to dare to make you an inspector. And there's it, the police dress her up in an inspector uniform, and she competed in the run and shoot competition. I won't
Well,
call her
that's
name.
dishonesty, man. That is dishonesty. That's what we talk about. It's unprofessional and it's dishonest. That's dishonest. And that is one of the problems we had years ago when we had the joint services sport. We had the joint services sport, and there was this motto: every citizen a soldier. So therefore, you have to have strict rules to determine who is a militiaman, how long you're in the service before you can represent the militia, who was a RC, all of those things. Rules. I remember one, we used to laugh at it because it was said, and I know Eddie Wills and those guys are listening, and it was said that Derek Thompson, when he was commander E Division, and it was then there's Linden, and they had a force billiards competition. They had some very good billiards players in Linden, and Derek recruited them, made them RCs or something like that for them to represent the division, and of course they won. A couple of years down the road, Derek came out at Yeah, you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you. Perhaps Pegasus at work.
Yeah. We just get through off just like that, and I had to think back. So to the viewers, they said the last song, yeah, we last video and everything, but I think we are on back. If you can hear me now, please indicate that you can hear that we're back on and you can hear me. We expect this, we expect. Technical, well, Abdul, I think it's sabotage, not technical difficulties, sabotage. But we're gonna be here to spread the word. We're gonna be still be loud and clear now. Mark is saying that he can hear us loud and clear. So I was telling you about Derek Thompson who um, recruited those people in Linden, and then he came back and he encountered them at the headquarters. So what you outlined there is not professional, is dishonest. Right. So as we move on, Mr. Conway, I saw that you wrote a letter to the media recently. I think it's published yesterday and today. You want to say something about it?
Yeah, it's about the police stats, Paul. And I said, it is meaningless for the police to provide year-end stats, given the perception that crime is under control when the citizens feel otherwise and the fear of crime is perpetual. It's going on right through the country. They presented stats to show figures from last year compared to the other year was down. Serious crime. Although the figures down, crime is still high. And they boasted, the crime chief said 80% clear up rate in murder. And I want to make the point that clear up rate is not when a person is charged. They have a vigorous law enforcement standard, proof beyond a reasonable doubt. A person is presumed innocent until proven guilty, not guilty as charged. And when we watch what happened last year, numerous persons appeared before the High Court and the Magistrates Court, and their case were thrown out. Some had no case submission, lack of evidence. So to give the impression that crime is under control is misleading and it's senseless. Even the Minister of Affairs, when asked about the performance of Hikini, a smiling minister said that under Hickens' leadership, there was a dramatic decrease in serious crime by 20% as compared to the previous year. And in preparing crime stats, we got to look at several factors, There's what is called a dark figure in crime. Crimes committed but not reported to the police for diverse reasons. And also they have what you call ghosting. They falsifying the patrols to make the figures come out right. I remember people used to say, hey, don't put in this one, This one gonna make the figures look bad. Or cut the stats so that we can look good. And also, police extract their crime figures, they're talking about serious crime, by looking at the crime book. But many crimes, serious crimes, are hidden away in the occurrence book and in the station diary and not accounted for. Remember Bascom? Bascom, when he made a serious report at Breakdown Police Station, they put it in the station diary. And therefore, it was not recorded as a serious crime, and hence no action was taken. And these crime figures, if I just go back a bit, were 11 figures, 11 serious crimes where our good friend Larry Lewis had initiated. We used to get monthly and yearly figures. And they're using the same figures. So over 3 decades ago, they're using the same figures. And a lot of crime are not accounted for in the Domestic Violence Act, in the Drug Act, in things like trafficking in persons. They're not related. And when you look at this year, we're talking about crime. They had so many murders, Paul. At least three execution-style murder. Not one person was arrested. We had one in Leopold Street where a murderer pumped 12 bullets into a man. Broad daylight. They were called the safe city. The cameras there perhaps they are not working and they can't arrest nobody for that. Choke and rob is back on the scene regularly. So the thing is that telling us about crime and the figures, the crime, it's meaningless. Not because you have a low crime rate, it means that crime is under control. Not because you have a lot of police patrol in the place there. Those things you don't measure. So when you want to measure how well you're performing, you go to your customers, go to the public and do surveys, do citizen surveys. You have quite a number of persons in the Guyana Police Force with university degrees. You have Paul Williams, he's got a doctorate. And you know what he's doing? He counting the amount, checking the amount of rainfall that we have for the month or the day or the week or the year at Civil Defense Commission. Not only alone there, they have a senior superintendent there, they have a superintendent there, and all with university degrees. Use them to help the police force to solve crime. And if you want to solve crime, you want to know how well you're doing, look at your responsibility as set out in Section 3.2 of the Police Act, Chapter 1601, and your mission statement. The mission statement is flawed. It's saying where all persons are involved in solving crime. They can't get all persons involved in solving crime. That is utopia. What the police should do in some instances, check out the data. Ask yourself, is this a trend? Is this a pattern? Is this a spree? And other things are, where are the hot spots? And then use their conceptual skills, their human skills, and their technical skills to solve the crime. We call it a 3D approach, data-driven decision. So I'm saying they should use do a lot of citizen survey, go to the citizens and find out what is going on, although we know exactly what's going on. And apart from that, there's what you call ComStat, a computer-generated statistics performance management system that was used in USA by Commissioner Bob Bratton and Mayor Giuliani, that greatly reduced crime in the NYPD. It has its negatives, but they can copy and use some of the system that they use there to assist crime. So don't bring nonsense to me for crime figures because it lower than last year that crime is under control. And also the fear of crime. People frightened to go up on the road, frightened that they get robbed. We said choke and rob, come back, apart from all the gun crimes, as the case may be. So I'm saying, do surveys. Use your people with university degree instead of even checking on rainfall, or get them at other place doing other nonsense, or instead of they're involved storing up a pot at State House for the president, or bowling ball for the president, hit bowling long up, full toss, and have volleys. They need to do much better.
All right, thank you much. Thank you. Because again, I to support what you have said, you're talking about crimes down and you're giving some figures. But then when you look at, as you pointed out, 3 execution style murders in a short space of time. One, the first one I remember, right on Regent Street, crowded Regent Street before Christmas, a man is executed there, somebody bossy throat or something like that. Then you have the Skittle matter. Then you have a man lying in his bed in Diamond, is executed. So something is wrong. When you look at the murder, I think we have had like about 8 murders this year so far. The amount of guns that are being recovered is another worry, including assault rifles. And that's just according to the police, you know. This is according to the police, assault rifles, submachine guns, and daytime brazen robbery right on the pavement in Georgetown. Brazen robbery. So whatever figures you might throw out there, when people see these things, people are justifiably concerned and will not believe not a thing that you see, because the fear of crime is real. The fear of crime is ever present, and therefore showing out some figures alone not gonna help. So thanks for that, CC. Now, you know, I have been saying repeatedly on this program, things occur, incidents occur, crime occurs, and initially you get a splash, and then you don't hear anything, no update as to what is going on. And I read a few days, or maybe a week ago, update on the Ozzy Rogers matter. If you recall, Ozzy Rogers is the man who, a PvP spokesperson and supporter. I think he lives somewhere in the New York area. He's alleged to have assaulted a shop attendant, a female shop attendant on the West Coast Barbies, using his firearm to strike her in the head. Now, shortly after, a day or two after, the man jumped on a plane and left the country. I saw recently now, as we had predicted, a report saying that the victim has claimed that, look, she took $150,000 from him, a settlement, because she don't want any further matter and so on. All right, that is well and good on the one part. But what happened to this firearm that this man is alleged to have used to assault this woman? What happened? Are they not going to take action in respect of that? She can't settle that. The man is alleged to have used, we are assuming that he has a licensed firearm, to assault someone with it. Clearly, that would be a demonstration that he doesn't have the necessary competence and temperament to be issued with a firearm. Let's wait and see what's going to happen with that, SEC.
I agree that the mother shouldn't die like that. We should check the fire. How we obtain that firearm. I mentioned before, is it from Shiv Chandrapal Drive? Is it from Young Street? Is it from a house in Robb Street? Is it from a building southwest of a breakdown? Police say, how did he need to show cause in first instance why the firearm should not be revoked? So don't finish it at that.
Exactly. And again, well, and that is the thing. We have some others that we to update our viewers on. But before I go there, let me give a word of guidance, advice to the Police Corporate Communication Unit. Up to now, they can't understand the difference between an exercise and an operation. So they are making releases about they had some roadblock exercise, or they had some exercise which search for firearm. Can't be an exercise. There's exercises when you're doing training. Exercise refers to training. What you have there is an operation, anti-crime operation, a roadblock operation, something like that. I'm talking about roadblock operation. Again, they're not doing that properly. So only last night we understand someone shoot away out of a roadblock on the quarantine, some wanted man, and escape. If a roadblock is properly mounted, that is hardly likely to happen. You got to know how to do these things, and that is the problem. They don't know what is the operation or the roadblock or an exercise, and therefore you get these civilians writing a whole set of crap. And people will call me to find out what it is. And sometimes you have to point out, look, don't bother with these people because they don't know. They are civilians. They don't know the difference between an operation and exercise. The next thing they got to understand, they like to say the possible alleged firearm or suspected firearm. A suspected firearm. In some cases, it's a suspected firearm and ammunition. In some cases, a firearm and ammunition. So you gotta decide what you're gonna say. So suspected firearm in some cases, the one that they found somewhere in the interior wasn't a suspected submachine gun, it's a submachine gun. So I don't know. You see, a gun is a gun. You might not know the caliber, you might not know other things about it, but then it's a firearm. And one that tickled me the other day. The one which I think some policeman in a car with firearm, and they're saying that the serial number was filed off, but they asked if he's a licensed firearm holder. He said no. So I mean, these things you gotta laugh at these things, but they're serious. You find a firearm with a serial number filed out, and you're asking the occupant of the car or the occupants of the car if they're licensed firearm holder. So even if they're licensed firearm holder, you think they're going to license them to carry a firearm with a serial number filed out? So these things make you look terrible, make the guy in the police force look terrible in the eyes of persons who know what is going on. So I'm telling them, I know that they listen, but because, again, they're watching at the messenger, they don't look at the message. So, but you can't come to tell people suspected firearm and suspected ammunition. You don't know a firearm and ammunition. They might not know the caliber. What is is a round of ammunition or is a firearm, right? And if the serial number is filed out, even if the man has a license, that is illegal because the law does not permit that. That's a CC.
That's true. And then I heard the other day in Barbados saying alleged fire when they're talking about the double murder in Blackbush.
They get alleged fire.
Yeah.
I don't know if you get alleged fire. A fire is a fire. So if you want to use the word alleged, it has to be alleged arson, not alleged fire. A fire is a fire. And all of this nonsense make the thing, they're looking more and more unprofessional. All your credibility going down. The little that you have, because they don't have much, the little that you have going down. So that is the story. That is the thing that you have. Somebody saying, oh, the firearm, anything about the firearm, that case is dead. Well, people, that is the skepticism that persons have when they hear these about this incident. So I thought I'll mention that. Now let me go to one of the main issues that we have to talk about this morning. That is this disturbing revelation that a security company, and they got a whole set of security company in the place, gave a 20-year-old person a 9mm pistol to work in the border market area. The man is claiming that he attempted to clear the pistol. That's last week, Wednesday night. The pistol went off, shot him through his palm, exited, and shot a 15-year-old bystander. CC, did you see that?
I saw it, Paul, and it boggles my mind in terms of, well, he didn't have no training. So if he had no training and he wasn't a supernumerary rank, therefore, as far as I'm concerned, is unlawful possession of arms and ammunition, and also those persons who give him to. They are accountable. And why do you want to clear that thing in a stall? And I always remember when we talking about clearing firearm, Paul, we used to say first you find a safe place. And then we looking at training, you go to the safety catch, the mag off, you cock, hook, and you look. Back to safety catch, and then you pull the trigger. But it must be a safe place. A stall cannot be a safe place. And the natural safety procedure, magazine off, cock, hook, and look. But he ain't got no training. And I wonder what training they give him in the Guyana police force. You can say that they would get a 3 weeks training. Training is critical. And even the training program, Paul, you not only look at the use of the firearm, you have to look at behavior. Part of the training, they must do little anger management. They must do little conflict resolution, little self-esteem, and another relevant subject. You got to deal with behavior, and that's why I've been calling for a behavioral science unit in the Guyana Police Force. Behavior is critical. You give a man a weapon that is designed to kill, and guns don't kill anybody. It's the person who pulled the trigger.
Well said. And when you talk about firearms, I see Terrence and Carl and all of those people, Miss Squatty them, and the older police will remember. They know that I'm a firearm instructor. I used to be a firearm instructor. I represented Guyana, the West Indies in shooting, so I know something about guns. And the first thing is that there's no way a man clearing. Well, of course, he hadn't any training. He could take it out to play with. He didn't know how to use it, and he shoot himself and the other person. Hope that the other both of them make a full recovery. But you touch on a very important question. This is a man, or a very important issue. This is the man who, by the own admission, is never trained, and he's given a firearm. So right away, he's not a supernumerary constable for the education of the viewing persons. Even if you are a security company employee, a security guard, it is not automatic that you are allowed to carry firearm. You have to be sworn and trained as a supernumerary constable to be allowed to carry a firearm. So the fact that he was not a supernumerary constable, he was not legally authorized to carry a firearm. So whoever gave him the firearm is complicit in the whole thing. He being in possession of a firearm that too is a criminal offense. So this thing requires, I wrote a letter to the media, I think it was published on Monday, saying the same thing. This thing requires a comprehensive review of the whole process, not only in relation to the all of these mushrooming security services, but the whole process relating to the issuing and use of firearm. I saw a clip from Roshan Khan, who was complaining. He said, well, I know if he's complaining, but he's making a statement that if you want to get gun, all you have to say, well, look, you get some business, and book, you get gun. Whether the car business, whatever business, you just make that. And so the whole process is corrupted. And I understand from reliable source that the company involved in this incident did not have a license to operate at the time last week Wednesday when this incident occurred. Understand? They did not have a license to operate. And the allegation is that monies were passed. Monies were passed, the people were calling, and they get a rap on the knuckle, right? A warning. And thereafter, an attempt was then made to backdate the permission for them to operate. So the permission for them to operate is dated the 28th of December 2022 for 1 year, but it is signed on the 18th of January 2023, the same day this incident occurred. The same day. Hear what I'm saying? A man who is not authorized to carry a firearm, the company gives him a firearm, he shoots himself and somebody else the night of the 18th, and according to the records, they're showing that the same 18th is the day when the company's license to operate was renewed. But you gotta tell her, as they would say, tell it to the Marines. Tell it to the Marines. I believe, and as the people are suggesting, that is they're also to backdate this whole thing to say that the company was legally operating. The evidence is there. I saw it. I saw the evidence that this thing is dated, and even see the wording is atrocious. The wording of this so-called license, right? It's terrible. Dated people. I see somebody say, Bonita saying, wow. The thing is dated on the 28th of December 2022. In other words, they're saying that it was issued on that date, but it is signed on the 18th of January 2023, the same day that this incident occurred. That is not a coincidence, buddy. I believe that that is an attempt to cover up this whole thing, to backdate this thing and sign it then. That is what it appears. And these things require investigation, but nobody investigated. Nobody investigating. So it's free for all, open sepulchre. See?
I saw it too, Paul, and there are some other things that a person signed controlling authority. And I want to believe I'm familiar with that signature. The controlling authority is the commissioner of police. And that signature is not Hickens' signature. Person signed controlling authority. They signed for, they signed controlling authority. And part of what is on that license, here it says, the license is granted subject to the following conditions and limitations, and under there is blank. So there's no conditions or limitation. Repeat, the license is granted subject to the following conditions and limitations, blank. As you mentioned, cover up, and when you cover up, and they cover up in a hurry. So when you cover up in a hurry, you're likely to make some serious mistakes. Or the demand signed blindly.
Well, yeah, well, you suspect that, and when Jackie Opel come into the thing, I know Dudley got laugh when I said Jackie Opel. Jackie Opel, Jackie Opel sing a song. We older folks know you got to pay. You got to pay. So it's Jackie Opel. So once you pay, these things tend to happen. That is the story. But it is blatant. It is blatant. And I think the time has come for action to be taken. And I've listed some of the action that I'm recommended. Because, let me say this. Some time ago, when I was commander A division, I mentioned it before on this program, I'm sure. I was faced with a similar situation where security who was working at Sapphire with a shotgun from a particular company with connections in Rob Street. It was reported that his shotgun was stolen from him while he was on duty. So now I'm policing and investigate. The investigations revealed that he was not a supernumerary constable and therefore he should not have been carrying a firearm. Action taken. That's how the diary, that's how the occurrence was, action taken. We started an investigation and to do an audit to discover that there are 2 revolvers that could not have been accounted for. So in addition to this shotgun that was stolen or allegedly stolen while the man was on duty in Sapphire, 2 revolvers issued to the company could not have been accounted for. So I instructed immediately for the officer, never forget, the officer at Alberton to seize all the firearms issued to that company and let's do a proper audit, a systems audit. Not only to discover how many raw arms and ammunition they have, but what systems they have in place to make sure that the authorized persons, the legally authorized persons are the one who are being issued with the firearms that they have. And Buddy Boy, I could tell you, I get calls from all over the place, all over Rob Street, all them places calling me. But I stood firm. I said, look, this thing is serious. We can't have a company giving firearms to a man who is not a supernumerary constable, and then the people steal the firearm, and then you're telling me that you're suggesting to me, or you're asking me, you're making a request for the firearms to return. I say, until such time that I, as a commander with responsibility, is satisfied that is a proper system in place, the firearms are not going to be returned. And we held on to those firearms. I get transferred subsequently. I know what happened because I tell people I don't take these things personal. I do what I'm required to do as duty. And when this incident occurred last week, Wednesday, at Boda Market, a man told me, he said, he said, look, this is not strange in terms of person being recruited. He said a particular company used to pick up them junkies in the night around Georgetown, give them a uniform to wear, put them to guard someplace, and then the next morning, give them a small piece and take back the uniform. That is what someone told me, I think it was over the weekend, that we're going on. So these private security companies are, well, let me be, you can't paint all with the same brush. You can't paint all because I know that they have some that are very professional, have people who are following the necessary laws and the regulations and so on. But these many security companies, imagine Roshan Khan saying that he never heard about this company yet. That is what he said. He never heard about this company. So this is a man who, as a security company, he never heard about this other company that you can perhaps say is rival. So something is going on. Something, and as I said, in terms of action to be taken, I say comprehensive audit. I've already indicated the need for criminal charges to be brought against those responsible. Comprehensive audit. And as I said, it's a systems audit. So it's not an audit just to check how many persons. And let me tell you some of the things that are required for the private security company. Have to have uniform. All of the people who are on duty should have uniform. The uniform must be approved by the police. The uniform that they're wearing must be approved. Should not be close or similar to the police uniform. So there must be no mistake. And a man reminded me this morning that they should have the word security clearly, visibly written on the uniform with shoulder patches and all of these things to say that they are security of which company they belong to. Right? So, and he even went on to say in some jurisdictions, if there's an armed security, it is written armed guard or armed security on the uniform. So what is a man that was coming back to the border market who is given a firearm and the thing that in the waist, apparently he has it in his waist. He has it in his waist. What should happen as well? Visible private security uniform, visible, approved by the police. CC, you would remember in the days, the person responsible is to be the staff officer. And then when they come to the staff officer, they will make an appointment with the senior management team to send one of the ranks dressed in uniform, and we will review it. And Larry Lewis, the commissioner, used to make some fun of them sometime, and we will make the decision as to whether the uniform displayed is approved or not. We are the ones to make that decision, and the records at headquarters must indicate as well what the uniform is. You get a photograph of the uniform so you know which company, which uniform. I guess all of those things now have gone through the window. The security constables have to carry their identification at all times when they're on duty. The precept, they have to have the precept. And let me tell you this part, which I'm sure they are not following, because the company will have several firearms issued to the company. It is not a Wild West thing where, because it's a company firearm and because the person is employed with the company, you just give them any firearm. They used to have to make sure that specific security personnel, trained security personnel, are endorsed on specific firearms. So that when you did the checks, you have to see the serial number of the firearm, and then you have to present to you is a copy of the license for that firearm for the year. All of those things. And you have people in the system, because I could call name, Watts used to be one of the persons was assigned sometime to go and do the audit and do the check. So he knows he can advise them. He can advise them. So it's not a case where you get the firearm, you just give, and I suspect that's what's going on now. So if a company has 25 revolvers, they just pick up any one and give. You go and do a random check, minister, or call someone to do a random check now. I am sure that if you roll up on any one of the guards with these weapons, let me see the license. Nothing. They don't have to show you that they are authorized to carry the particular firearm. They have nothing to show. I'm willing to bet on that. But again, all those are things that need to be looked at. All of these things got to be looked at. You got your mandated training. Mandated training. And this is not only for the security guards, but other people as well. Mandated training, either yearly or half-yearly, as the case may be, right? And you know, let me bring in Mr. Conway and let me pull up this information. See, I'm looking for something here because I got a note. Oh, I'll find it already. So I'm going to read something for the benefit of the viewers and for the benefit of those people who report to the minister and who report to the man who sits in the chair. This is a what they call a declaration. This here really is, in order for you to carry firearm in some jurisdiction, the person who trained you have to swear to an affidavit to say that you are properly trained. The person has to swear to an affidavit. And here what it says. I'm not going to call the names and so on. It says that I somebody swear and affirm that I am an NRA instructor and qualified firearm specialist, and I am therefore competent to judge the knowledge and proficiency of others in the safe and proper use of handguns and other firearms. I hereby declare that I have personally tested the applicant name is then stated, and do certify that she is qualified in the safe handling of a pistol or revolver by an approved 8-hour NRA pistol course. I hereby declare that the applicant has qualified by firing 50 rounds of ammunition from a sequence of drills at 5, 10, 15, and 25 yards with a passing grade of, and the grade is stated, which is required to qualify. The applicant also participated in an 8-hour class consisting of level 3 holster techniques, gun retention, and use of force principles, and the guidelines of primary firearm to be carried. And the firearm that the man is qualified to use is listed. And then the instructor signs off to say that the person is qualified to use that firearm. But what we have in this place that is not a real place, anybody picking up a firearm, no system of qualification, and that is why we have all the incidents that we have. You may recall not so long ago, I mentioned them in the thing, a security guard working at a supermarket, a Diamond on the east bank of Demerara, shot a man in his leg with an AR rifle because of some misunderstanding. We had one the hotel compound on the East Bank, where two security guards had some misunderstanding either over parking or something like that. Man pulled out a pistol, a 9mm pistol, shot one in his leg. We had another incident where somewhere in Greater Georgetown, they say a man discharged a thing, injuring three persons. We had one on the East Bank, where I think not so long ago, some misunderstanding between the guard and a patron who he claimed was going in there with a drink bottle that he should not have gone on. The man up the road, he shoot behind the man, injured the man. You ain't hearing anything about these things? And then we had, don't forget in terms of use, because while we talk about the private security and the civilian, I made the point, police too, not properly trained. And the incident on New Year's morning is a clear indication where the police said that two men were scuffling and he fired a few rounds in their direction. He killed both men. He killed both men again. You're not hearing about that. So something is definitely wrong. See, what are your views?
I endorse those statements, Paul. And I just want to get back to the private security. The thing is that this private security, in terms of numbers, there are more than the joint services. I can remember when I was in the force, my mentor, one of my mentors, Major General Norman McLean, he fought tooth and nail for those security to be regulated. And in 2009, on the 19th of November, Parliament passed the law dealing with private security. It's called the Private Security Service Act 2009. President Jagdeo signed it on the 31st of December 2010. So it took over a year before you could have the signature of the president, but it's still in place. And there are several things that are embedded in this act. Getting back to the shooting, to the where the man discharged a wrong, injured himself and a youngster. That security service should have been suspended, or it should have been, well, it didn't have no license, so it can't be suspended. But here what they talk about suspension. You see, and they're talking about section 10, I like read the law, 10.2. So they can't say convicts or pass to say. It is necessary, a reading part of expedient to do so. The controlling authority may, by order in writing, suspend the operation of the license for such a period not exceeding 30 days and may be specified in the order, and require the license holder to show cause within 15 days from the date of issue of the order as to why suspension of the license should not be extended until determination of in the question of cancellation. And when there is a cancellation, here's what should happen. The private security agents, time was section 4, shall be ordered by the controlling authority to cease to provide security services. All firearms and ammunition shall be handed over to the Ghana Police Force. All clients shall be informed of the cancellation. All security personnel shall cease to wear uniform. Upon suspension, all processing and training of all security must cease for a period of suspension. Upon cancellation, all firearms license shall be revoked. Upon cancellation, the appointment of all supernumerary counsel shall be revoked. Upon cancellation, the company will cease to use the emblem, logo, or badge. And let me just go on a bit, just bear with me, and let me talk about uniform. You see, section 17.1. A private security agent shall issue to every private security guard and every supervisor employed or engaged in a photo identity card with distinct identification number, special uniform, special badges and caps indicating the logo or emblem of the private security agency concerned as approved by the controlling authority. And 3, saying, while on duty, every private security and security guard and supervisor shall wear the uniform and badge given to him and shall display on his person the photo identity card issued to him under Section 1, unless otherwise approved by the authority. And just let me, in closing off here, let me just tell you what the identity card should include. Identity card number, photograph of the security guard or supervisor to be affixed and duly stamped by the security agency. Name, designation security guard supervisor, date of birth, signature of guard, signature and issue of agency, period of validity, date of issue, and the company seal. So apart from who they wearing the uniform, which must be approved by the control authority, they must also carry a ID card with visible characteristics. But this act here is being observed in the breach rather than anything else.
That is the law. That is what we just read as the law. So again, as you said, it's not Slow saying it, it's not Conway saying it. It's what the law says. But again, you have these masqueraders around and everybody just breaching these things. And when you have incidents like the one that we're referring to, or the several that we refer to, nothing is done. They don't take this opportunity to correct the system. So it goes on, it's business as usual. Nobody don't say, well, all right, as these things happen, we might have been lapsing. Let me tighten up and let's make sure that the law is observed. And that is why you have these issues. That is why, because again, I say, if a security company gives to a firearm to a person who is not authorized to carry the firearm, they're in serious breach of the law. And I have someone here suggesting that a lot of the security companies, that is the allegation here, a lot of the security companies rent out guns to people. They rent out guns. Just give a man, you have people who might have applied and have not been able to acquire a licensed firearm. Security company just rent a gun. It's a serious thing. And I said in the letter that I wrote on Monday, you're walking around town and you see the amount of security with firearm, including assault rifles and shotgun. It's a terrifying thing, because if anything were to happen, even as they say an accidental discharge, which I don't believe in, I tell people, very few firearms, the design of very few would allow it to fire without you squeezing the trigger. Very few can fire without you actually squeezing the trigger. Most of them, you have to apply direct pressure to the trigger for it to fire off. So I don't know what you're talking about, accident, right? But it is frightening to see people with assault rifles, people with shotgun, and all of these things around the tongue. And it is even more terrifying when you recognize that some of them have no proper training in the use of these firearms. And some of these incidents that we have highlighted clearly shows that if people have no training, they don't have the temperament to be carrying, as people say, long gun about the place. This thing is terrifying, and something needs to be done about it. Something needs to be done. Minister of Home Affairs, the man who sits in the commissioner chair, all the security advisors and national security. There was a security advisor. The last I heard of him is when he's alleged to have video recorded the policeman after 18 hours, who fell asleep after 18 hours on duty. So I don't understand, Carlton. Yeah, normal safety precaution. They don't know that. They don't know that NSP, the normal safety precaution. I told y'all again, we take things so easily in this country. I had the privilege of attending the FBI Academy, and I did a course in deadly force management. That is one way you use guns and so on. And those same things are, even though you go to them, I big up myself, I'm a firearm instructor. I'm a marksman. I represented my country in rifle shooting. I was such an excellent pistol shot and all this. Yeah, they listen to you. You got to go through the basics. They put you in a class and they take you through the basics. Little St. Lucia. I went to St. Lucia and the people decided to carry me one evening to the indoor range to shoot. The instructor, nice introduction, very pleasant person, Swan. Put you to sit down. You got to go through the class. You have to go through the class for him to be satisfied that you're competent before you're taken into the range. Give him a pistol and thing. I will never forget, because a little wicked. So when they took me in the range eventually, and the instructor, every shooter has an instructor standing directly behind him to supervise the process. So the man the man stood behind me, something like 10 meter or something like that, 10 meter, with a pistol. And at 10 meter with a pistol, I ain't boasting or bragging, but even if I shot me, I can't miss the target, because it was what they call one of these silhouette target, human shaped target. And I started to pump them in the man's forehead. And the man looking at me, I said, well, I told you all, I know a thing or two about shooting. But the point, you have to go through the basics. But you have people in Guyana, let them do a survey, you're going to see. 10 years, even including policemen who carrying gun around the place. 10 years and more, I've never gone to the range to fire the firearm that they use. I've never gone. And that has to be a worrying thing. That has to be very, very worrying. Once a person is made to carry a firearm is a lethal weapon. A lethal weapon is a danger to himself. He's a danger to the members of the public. He has to show competency in the use of the weapon. And when we talk about competency in use, it's not only the physical aspect, how to point and shoot and all of that, but he has to show that he knows when he can shoot, when you may fire. Those things are so important. And I know CC as a training man, you will seek to emphasize the need for persons to be properly trained in the use of firearm.
That's true, Paul. And I remember the FBI too, is that you have to shoot every year and you have to get 80% proficiency before you can qualify. But let me just go back and give this other one, and then they can read the rest. Section 13 of the Private Security Services Act. It says, every private security agency shall maintain a register containing the names and addresses of the person managing the private security agency, the names, addresses, and photographs of the private security guards and their supervisor employed by the agency, the arms and ammunition under its stock in custody, the names and addresses of supernumerary constables attached to the private security agency, the names and address of persons to whom or the establishment to which agency has provided or is providing security service. So they have to keep a register, and the police need to check on these things. So the police, their database could tell them exactly how many security services they have and who they are providing services to, and the names and addresses of all those persons under their employment. But what they're doing, every year or all in the year, they send out a letter, a blanket letter to everybody stating that we come in on X day and X time to check, and you must make your security manager available, and they check the arms and ammunition, and that is the end of it. Nobody don't know surprise check. Nobody don't check. Hey, you say get a man at Ashman building. Nobody gonna check to see if he's there. Nobody check to see whether he is a supernumerary, supernumerary, or he's trained nothing. That they're just doing a cosmetic thing. They need to do in-depth check, proper audit of the system. That's why we have so many irregularities, so many deadly things taking place with this private security services. They need to follow, and I'm emphasizing, they need to follow the act. And as you reminded me, they need to have proper training and certified by the police that this person is competent to the use of this weapon, and they have to list the weapons. Because right now in the police force, I want to suspect, remember, Sila Pasala, some 3 months and 4 months old, or some 3 months old police, and many of them graduated from the college, and the only weapons they use is the revolver and the shotgun, and they have gone out in the various divisions, graduated, and I'm certain that they're using high-power weapons which they are not trained to use.
And I endorse that. I endorse that because I know, you see, the unfortunate thing in the force is that once a person comes out from the training school, he goes to a station and so on. There's no record to show what firearm he was trained to use, what firearm he's competent to use. So if there's a duty, they just give a rifle, give a shotgun, give a pistol and something, and say go in duty. Sometimes the man was never trained to use the firearm. And John is saying here that he's concerned about the persons who are known to have short tempers and working as private security guards. Some are employed in supermarket and are in possession of high-powered rifles while supermarkets are crowded. John, all right-thinking persons should be concerned, not only you, all right-thinking person, because it's a case where you might be at the wrong place at the wrong time, right? As happened on several occasions. We talk about on the East Coast somewhere there, 3 persons injured when a security guard tried to calm an unruly customer and shoot. 3 persons are injured. Thankfully, I don't think the injuries were life-threatening, but that is what we have. That is what we have. You have to have a proper system. Carlton is saying that he has to do, he is a deputy director of fire and life. You got to do training, including training of active shooters and all that type of thing that you have in the US. Training is very, very important. Unfortunately, in Guyana, training is not a serious consideration. And not only the use of firearm, but training in general. Training is not being considered. So that is why you have lots of the issues that we see daily. CC, anything else?
I wish again to emphasize training, and I agree with you that training is critical. And I always saying that currently we treating training as a pregnant, unmarried, unwanted stepdaughter. That training must be, and proper training must be done. And also you're using firearm, and also the man that calling there. The other thing is that we need to look at behavior. We need a behavior. In my days, I remember certain ranks couldn't carry a gun. The sergeant used to say, when it's constable, hey, you don't behave nice, but you can't fetch gun. You gotta fetch SMS. We used to call the button Stanley more special. And that was it. If your behavior isn't right, you can't carry no gun. And then in the training for the special, for the supernumerary, you have to address behavior. I'm over sensing the point again that there is need for a behavior science unit in the Guyana Police Force to address behavior, because policing is all about behavior.
Well said, my brother. Well said. Well said. Somebody asked today, Everett, whether you think it will be ever be implemented. Well, let's hope that yes, they're gonna wake up and start to implement some of these things. Let's hope that they will do that. I am hopeful that you're doing it. Yeah, well, look, I got my shooting friend. Even he's telling me that when he went to Canada, although he had all the training when he went to Canada, he had to do all the training, even though he could have taught the course. Because this man we're talking about here, Paul went on specialized marksmanship course. I think it was in Mexico or somewhere there. But yes, still when he moved to Canada, they are not taking things for granted. You have to go through. Same thing with me. Same thing with me. When the people were teaching me the thing, I tell myself, I could teach these people, I could put them in a class, and I could teach them because I had the knowledge. But they are not taking that. They have got to satisfy themselves. I read to you earlier the affidavit. The instructor has to issue an affidavit to say that he is satisfied that you are competent to use the particular firearm. Other than that, you can't carry any firearm. And I made the point that not so long ago in Guyana, when there was a shooting involving police, whether fatal or otherwise, and the police is charged, the firearm instructor had to go to the court to give evidence in relation to the training that the person underwent. Not so long ago, right? But all of those things now have gone through the window. I even mentioned on this program before, I was a young sergeant in charge as a firearm instructor. I think the late, great J.O.F. Ains, he was chancellor at the time, got permission to use a firearm. Well, he didn't come to the TSU. I had to go to his office with the firearm and put him to sit down in a class and taught him how to use a firearm and taught him when you may fire. He looked at me in amazement. He asked me, he said, Sergeant, are these things taught to young policemen? As I saw every single policeman start when you're in fire, starting out at 18. When you said what? He said, well, look, he made point. He said, from now on, I'll view these matters differently because there's nothing that is missing here. They have been taught all they need to know. There's nothing that is missing. That is what Geoff Haynes told me. I never forget that. A young sergeant, he told me that, right? So the whole story is, and we are emphasizing this because things, they have to look at the system. They have to look at it. You had again, not so long ago, around Christmas time, 11 firearms stolen from a security company. 11. What have they done to that company? I don't think they did anything. They recover a few. I don't think all have been recovered with the ammunition. But it simply means the fact that 11 firearms can be stolen from one company, it simply means that it's slackness. How can that be allowed to happen? What type of storage they have? What type of security they have for the firearm? And then, as it was revealed, that these people from the company might have been involved. So what type of people they are recruiting? All of these are questions to be asked and answered. So the gentleman who asked the question whether they're going to do anything about it, we hope for the good of the country that those who are listening, because they're listening, you know, they're listening. They have people monitoring this program. Some of them trying to dash you off the air with whatever software and so on again. But they are finding it useful. Maybe some of them don't like the way it is put over, you know, this beat and teach method and so on. But it has to be put over. It has to be said. It has to be said. I don't like to come back to say I told you so. But look at this incident on New Year's Day. If that, where a policeman was shot and killed in those circumstances, if that doesn't serve as a catalyst for them to look at the training in a comprehensive way, nothing else would. I don't think. Nothing else would. And talking about that, on New Year's Day, the man who sits in the chair made nice statement. Oh, we're going to take care of the funeral. Oh, we're going to give frequent updates. Well, the corporal has been buried, and I suspect the matter is buried with the corporal as well, because the last we heard is that the people, the two ranks who were under close arrest, have been placed under open arrest, and this update, this promised update, frequent. I know if they might want to say frequent is relative, because frequent perhaps can be once a year. Frequent can be once a year, but almost a month, at least 3 weeks pass, and you have not heard anything. It's bluff. It's just bluff and fluff. That's what's going on. Bluff and fluff. Nothing else. And people should come to recognize it. All this enough talk and all this, they go into this posture and all is just talk. And you know they're gonna come abuse these two geriatrics, say we ain't got nothing to do, and we come in there on a Wednesday and abusing people. We're not abusing, we're putting it over in a very aggressive manner because it needs to be put over in that manner. I will tell you when to talk about geriatric, in order for you to know if you're a geriatric, you got to know when you're born, you know. Because I said the last program, the dictionary said that once you're over 65, you're considered geriatric. So I'm a proud geriatric, but you got some people that know when they're born, so they don't know which category they find themselves in. As you see,
I know, and then although I'm a geriatric, Paul, I'm not weak down the leg side, Paul. I'm not weak down the leg side. But getting back to this New Year shooting, imagine I heard the crime chief saying that the OPR is investigating and CID don't investigate those kinds of matter. Perhaps he is taking it as an incident and not as a double murder. And apart from that, there's a wall of silence. I'm not hearing the police complaints authority. It is written in the law, it is mandatory that in all police killings where policemen are killed and alleged, that the complaint authority or the authority that is called must supervise the investigation. I have not heard a word. And apart from that, there was a recent case, I think it was our good friend Mr. Todd who won the case where the DPP had indicted a policeman for murder somewhere in the region, I think it's region 8 or somewhere, a foreigner was shot in his head, and the DPP indict him after preliminary investigation, and the court ruled that indictment was illegal because they didn't conform with the act, the Complaints Authority Act, which made it mandatory that the complaint authority must supervise the investigation. Then I'm wondering if there is a complaint authority, because I think something a couple of years ago they had difficulty or in terms of appointing an authority and in terms of renewing the contract. So I don't know if the contract was renewed or what really happened, but we're not hearing anything whatsoever about the complaint authority. And there's it, a double murder, allegedly policemen involved, not allegedly, policeman say shoot a few rounds, and not a word from the police complaint authority. And the head of the CID saying that they don't investigate those kind of matter. It is the Office of Professional Responsibility. Where are we going, Paul?
Well, nowhere, because let me say this. I was about to say that I'm shocked that the man in charge of CID would make such a statement, right? Because even if, all right, don't let's might not be murder,
Incident.
definitely well, not only incident, it's an homicide. It's an homicide, and by definition, it's an unlawful killing of a human being by another human being. And to hear that they don't investigate homicides, something is definitely wrong. So that is an inherently incredible statement that you don't the CID don't investigate matters like those. What type of matter we talking about? We're talking about the killing of two persons. We're talking about the killing of two persons, including a policeman. And to say that you don't investigate, that's something, can't tell the Chinese man, something wrong. Something wrong. And Everett is asking a question here. Are there anything in the law governing plainclothes security that can carry a concealed firearm? I haven't heard anything from you about that. Well, based on what was read just now, I am not sure that the law caters for any civilian clothes arrangement. The law, based on what was read just now, and I got to research it some more, based on what was read, you say you got to get uniform. Each security company must have uniform, and all the persons employed with the security company must wear the uniform. I recall there was a particular company, not here, when I worked in the Florida with the cricket and so on, the company that we employed, even the manager, when they turn up for my briefings and meetings, they wore uniform. Even the manager. So we'll have to check the Private Security Act to see if provisions are made for anyone to carry, to wear plain clothes and to carry concealed firearms. I'm not sure, Everett. I will have to look at it. Now, the next thing I have here to list, the frequency over the past couple of weeks, it seems as though policemen are being arrested in connection with drugs and firearms with an alarming frequency. Again, something is wrong. I think about 2 or 3 incidents in recent times where policemen arrested marijuana, cocaine in one case, illegal firearms. Something is wrong with the system. Too many people are going rogue. Maybe it's a case that monkey see, monkey do. I don't know, but it needs to be addressed. And then we talk about standing orders and all of that. This incident, I had to laugh. These basic things, prison van transporting prisoners from West Demerara to somewhere, when the van hit by the bridge on the East Bank, the men kick open the door around the vehicle. Thankfully, both were rearrested. I think one of them Mauritanian, and the other one was arrested somewhere. But those are basic stuff. Basic stuff, how you transport prisoners. I remember, remember when I was in the deputy chair there, I wrote a comprehensive order, what we used to call high-profile criminals, how they are to be treated and so on. And that was implemented. Them things couldn't take place then. Because it's basic. You're transporting a prisoner. So this is a man who is either sentenced or a man who has been remanded and he ain't get on handcuffed. And he's not secured in a manner that he can't just kick open a door and run out. Something is wrong. CC, tell me something here, man. Help me out here. I've always asked you for help. Tell me something.
Paul, it's mind-boggling that prisoners could kick open the door of a prison van and escape. Where were the escort or escorts? And then they come back to, remember I mentioned about the 3 I's of management: inspect, investigate, inform. If you're carrying them to prison, you don't inspect them, you don't check them. And more so, before they go in the prison van, you didn't check the prison van to see whether they're there. Yeah? Persons were left in the prison van for them to escape. And also they themselves, when they go to court and they mix around, they may get instruments which could pick locks and all kind of thing. That's come back to searching the prisoners. They didn't search a prisoner at Brigham and he find a piece of sponge, a piece of wire, and a lighter, and the whole Brigham gone up in flames. No checking, no inspection, Paul.
And the thing is that apparently they're not learning from these incidents. That's the worrying part. That is the worrying part. They're not learning and putting systems in place to make sure that these things don't recur. That is what is bothering me. That is what bothers me. And then we have, we had some other stuff, but I'm looking at the time. And let me say, another one, these things happen and then you don't know anything. I remember the commander in Bobby's Region 6, New Amsterdam, they're talking about this missing firearm. Over the past couple of weeks, police have recovered lots of illegal firearms. Kudos to them. Whatever they're doing, that seems to be working because they're recovering firearms. But at the same time, you get security company losing 11, and you have the police officer in Bobby's. He gives some constable firearm to keep, and I don't think they have found that firearm up to now. And you don't hear anything about these matters. You don't hear anything about these matters. And then we have two, in addition to that, we have, we made laugh over the fact that sometime, I think it was the end of November, December, the butchers, the police butchers, the men that butchered the cow in the quarantine. I know that we have first-time viewers here, so let me quickly recap what happened. Partly a bus traveling on the quarantine in the 19 area struck a cow, and then he was advised by a patrol to go and make a report. So he went and he made a report to the police, and the next patrol came. When the next patrol came, the carcass had disappeared. They saw evidence of the accident, and the carcass had disappeared. A man was able to produce a video to show the policemen in uniform with what we would call machete, or what we call cutlash, or the country say cutlash, cutting up this thing. I understand that they were transferred to the TSU, and you're hearing nothing about it. What action was taken against them? Maybe they're now employed at the abattoir. I don't know. CC?
You missed out the point, Paul, is that he was advised to cut out the brand of the animal and turn to the station.
That the brand is the evidence. Yes, brand is the evidence.
Yeah,
Brand is the evidence.
instead of carrying the old cow, just cut out the brand and think that, so, maybe he left it so that those butchers could have a field day, But, it's alarming, and things happen, and then nothing, Paul.
Nothing. Let me welcome some. I neglected to continue welcoming. I see Adi Mark is here. Welcome, Adi. Adi, welcome. And so many other persons joined. Monica, I understand that you're a regular viewer. CC, so you called him this morning and you asked me. I'm doing well. So welcome to this program, Monica. Welcome. I did welcome John already, and others. Bonita is here, and when he continue to share, continue to share. Court came on. Court said, "Old Alibi," June, Robbie, Cheryl, Wilma, all of these people. We have full house. Not even standing room. Ingrid is here still. Cecil, out front parts. I always like this name. Out front parts. He said they're walking about and giving everybody gun, but they turned down. Sergeant Bascom applied for firearm. It's true. He applied for firearm and they did not grant him the firearm license. So we have I have a namesake. Yasan is here. Sheila, Miss Squaddy. Sheila, W351 is here with us. So welcome for all those persons who I may not have called before. Welcome. As we wind down today's program, let me ask CC. We have some other issues, but I think they can wait for next week rather. CC, is there anything pressing you want us to discuss this morning?
Some could wait, but let me talk about this one. Some time ago, I mentioned that there was when Happy was performing the duties of commissioner. I mentioned that there was a gang of 5 operating. Now, what in the air is that there might be a change in commissioner, or the commissioner may be extended. According to the records that I've seen whilst I was a member of the Police Service Commission, in July, Hicken will be 55. Commissioner age of retirement to 55, but we know commissioners have been extended. We had Larry Lewis, we had McDonald, we had Green, and we had Bromell, and they all end up in worries. But now it's not a group of 5, a gang of 5. There are 4 snipers, and they're all sniping to become the next commissioner. One is highly favored by a house in Robb Street. One reports directly to an office southeast of Ivlery. One is in possession of a birth certificate, and the son is said of Hicken. And he said if Hicken is extended, he will make it public to show that Hicken is more than 55. Whilst one is in the slips, gathering and collecting adverse information, which he will make public about the others. So there's a lot of wrangling and tangling going on in the place there. And for me, the only man who should sit in that seat now is Deputy Commissioner Dr. Paul Williams, who is qualified professionally and academically than all of them. So let's wait and see who will become the commissioner. Because we got to remember that the commissioner is a political appointment appointed by the president after meaningful consultation with the leader of the opposition and chairman of the Police Service Commission. But we don't have a functioning Police Service Commission, so we don't know what will happen. I made a pledge several episodes ago that I will leave something with the police before I close. And permit me to read an extract from a book, Long Walk to Freedom, Nelson Mandela. And this is the very last paragraph. I have it here. Here's what he said. I've walked the long road to freedom. I've tried not to falter. I've made missteps along the way. But I've discovered that the secret that after climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are more hills to climb. I've taken a moment to rest, to steal the view of the glorious vista that surrounds me, to look back on the distance I come from. But I can only rest for a moment. For with freedom comes responsibilities, and I dare not linger, for the long walk is not yet ended. End of the quote.
Thank you, my brother. Well said. See you. Stay well. I'll see you in the next week. So, bye.
Thank you for having me. I'll be around next week.
Yeah, Denise Champion is saying she's here too. There too. Well, yes. Let me reach out to you, Denise. We would like to. Well, the truth is we can't mention everyone. We try to greet as many persons as we can, and but sometimes we miss a few names and so on. So don't believe it's anything malicious. Don't believe. We appreciate all of you who take your time to look at the program. We appreciate, because the numbers will tell us that the program is very, very liked and very well followed. And I encourage you to continue to share the information about the program. I continue to tell you to don't forget to go to YouTube and to subscribe to the channel, because our aim is to popularize the program. And more platforms that you on is going to be better for us. You saw early in this program on 2 occasions what I believe is sabotage. People try to, at least on Facebook, to get rid of this program. So that is why we encourage you to go to YouTube, and YouTube is a much more stable platform. So go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button so that you will get the notice when the program goes live. Yvonne, I missed you. I see you are not here for a while. Yvonne from the Bronx, welcome today. Several persons who are not here recently are back on. I know Christmas time, everybody busy with all kind of things, but now that you have settled down, I suspect you will return. And again, I encourage you to go to YouTube. All the episodes are there. This is the 3rd episode for the year. And I want to close by telling you again, COVID, up to this morning, I looked at the dashboard. People are in the ICU. I think yesterday they're reporting 30-odd cases. I guess there's the effect from the Christmas holidays. So you have to do everything to be safe. Do everything to be safe. We don't need to tell you at this stage, COVID is almost 2 years plus old. And therefore, we know what the protocols are. Let's follow the protocol and be safe. And until next week, God's willing, you know the timing. Guyana is 12 midday. New York is 11. Well, not New York, which is New York is 11, which is 11 Eastern Standard Time. My friends in the UK and in Canada and in California and those places will be able to know what the time is. We will see you then. So until then, God's willing, take care and look after yourself. Bye.